Are you thinking about getting your real estate license in the state of Colorado, but you just don't know where to start? Well, in this video, I'm going to go through a complete step-by-step guide that's going to walk you through exactly how to complete your pre-license education, some of the schools that we recommend, along with how to pass your exam and all the steps involved after you pass your exam to get your license and pick your first brokerage. So if you're excited for this video, let's dive right in. My name is Chris. I've been a licensed agent for over the past 10 years, and I've been able to help hundreds of agents get started with their new career and get their real estate license. Before we dive into this video, I do want to tell you about a couple quick things. The first thing is our real estate license starter kit. In the description down below, you'll be able to grab a copy of that guide, and everything in this video plus a lot more is inside that guide, so make sure to grab your free copy of it today. Also, in the description below, you're going to find a link to my favorite real estate pre-license school. The best part about this school is that they are state approved and they have a pass or don't pay guarantee, which is something that I really love because with real estate schools, you really want to pick one that stands behind their work. And this is one that definitely does because they have that pass or don't pay guarantee. So make sure to click the affiliate link down below, which will also give you access to different sales and discounts if you decide to move forward with their real estate classes. So be sure to check that out. Okay, so the very first step in getting licensed is meeting some of the basic requirements. In the state of Colorado, you're required to be 18 years old or older, and you must have a high school diploma or a GED. Another requirement is you must be legally present in the US. And the last thing I want to talk to you about is the background check, and I'm going to dive into this a little bit deeper when we get further on in the video, but you are going to be required to complete a background check. So if you have something on your record that's a little concerning, I would highly suggest you reach out to the local real estate commission in Colorado and check with them before you go through this process. But if you don't think there's anything on your record, then you should be in pretty good shape. Step number 2 is completing your real estate pre-licensed education classes. In the state of Colorado, you have to complete 168 hours of state-approved pre-licensed education. And yes, I know, this sounds like a ton of time to invest in real estate classes, but the good news is you can complete these classes in person or online. I actually prefer the online option because you still have access to instructors and all the good things that you would want to feel confident in going for your pre-licensed education, but it's more flexible and you can do it at your own pace, especially if you have other things going on in life, such as another job or just family obligations and things that you have to do in your regular day-to-day life that prevent you from going to classes in person. In these classes, you're going to learn a ton of different things. And it's important to pay attention because in these classes, you're going to learn a ton of new information. So it's definitely a good thing to pay attention. You're going to learn everything from real estate law, contracts, ethics, and all the things that you need to do to be able to practice real estate once you get your real estate license. It's also super important to pay attention during these classes because in step number 3, it's all about passing your real estate exam. Once you complete your 168 hours of pre-licensed education classes required by the state of Colorado, then it's going to be time to schedule your real estate exam. But before we do that, I highly suggest you wait a week or two and really spend some time studying for your exam because the exam does have a pretty high failure rate, especially if you don't invest the time to study and really learn the material. So I highly suggest you take the time to do that ahead of time. But when you're ready to schedule your exam, the exam is done through PSI testing centers, and you can schedule your exam online by going to PSI's website and scheduling. Now, when you actually get there on test day, you're going to want to bring 2 major things. The first thing is a basic non-scientific calculator for the math portion of the exam, and you're also going to want to bring 2 forms of identification. You could bring things like a driver's license, a passport, a credit card, a debit card. There are all sorts of identification that you could bring, and it's also listed in more detail once you get on the website to PSI. Now you're probably wondering, what's actually on the exam and how is it formatted? Well, there's 154 test questions. 80 of those test questions are for the national portion of the exam, and 74 of those test questions are for the state-specific portion of the exam to Colorado. Now, these exams are broken in 2, and you're going to have to pass each one. And you're going to need to pass them with a 75% score or higher. Now, one important thing that I want to note is make sure you don't rush through the exam. You have plenty of time to complete it. And most people that rush through the exam end up failing because they don't read each question multiple times before they submit their answer. And that's very important because some of the questions are written in a way that's a little tricky and tough to comprehend. And they don't do that to trick you, but they do it because they want to make sure you really know the material before they pass you and give you access to a real estate license. Now, once you finally complete the exam, you're going to know right away if you passed or failed. If you failed the exam, then don't worry about it. There are so many talented, great agents that are absolutely crushing it that failed the exam the first time around. So it doesn't mean you're going to be a bad agent. It just means you need to take more time and give it another try, study harder, and give yourself another shot. Now, if you pass the exam, it's definitely time to celebrate because that is a huge win and it's a huge milestone. So many people fail the first time, and if you passed, definitely give yourself credit for studying hard and doing all the work up until this point. Step number 4 is passing your background check. In the state of Colorado, this is required and it's done through IdentoGO, and you have to get your fingerprinting done and your background check done before you actually submit for your license application. So make sure you do this process as soon as you can. Once you do that, we move on to step number 5, and this is the exciting part. You finally get to submit for your license application. What you want to do is you want to package everything up that you've done up to this point, which is your past pre-license education of 168 hours of state-approved classes. You also want to include your past real estate exam with a passing score of 75% or higher. And last but not least, you want to include your fingerprinting and background check to send out with your license application. And you want to send all this information to the Colorado Division of Real Estate. Once that's done, it's time to do a really exciting part of this process, and that's picking your sponsoring broker. Now, I have a couple important questions that you need to ask your sponsoring broker because I don't want to see you set yourself up for failure by going to the wrong brokerage. So here's what I would ask. The very first question is, what kind of mentorship and training do you provide? Keep in mind, your first brokerage is going to be your first real estate mentor, and you want to see how they're going to support you in building your business. Do you have access to somebody one-on-one, or is it more of a classroom setting and they only do classes here and there? Or maybe they have no support at all, and their brokerage is more set up for seasoned, experienced, licensed agents that have been in the business for 10 years and really don't need a ton of support. So ask that question ahead of time, especially when you're brand new. Another question to ask is, how are you going to help me build my business? What kind of leads, training, and things you're going to teach me to help me grow? Now, keep in mind, the majority of real estate agencies are not going to have leads handed to you. You're probably going to have to join a real estate team if you want that, but you definitely can ask what teams they have in their office if you do want to apply for real estate teams and do the application process and see if you can join one of those teams. So these are all questions you want to ask, and you want to make sure you're aligning yourself with a brokerage that is in alignment with how you want to grow your business. Last but not least, you always want to ask what kind of commission splits and compensation plan do they offer? And also, what kind of fees are you going to be responsible for paying every single month? Some brokerages charge you hundreds of dollars per month just to be a part of their brokerage. And this can be really tough if you're a new agent and you haven't closed any deals and you haven't built your sales pipeline up yet. So make sure to ask that question ahead of time, and also ask what the commission split is. But I do want to highlight one important thing. The real estate split is not the most important thing. The most important thing as a new agent is what kind of mentorship and training are you going to get? Because I see so many new agents gravitate towards really high commission splits, but then they never make a sale because they have no idea what they're doing and they don't have any mentorship. So make sure to go to a brokerage that's going to support you and help you grow. Now, I do have a couple common questions that you're probably thinking in your head that I want to answer really quickly. First one is, how much does it actually cost to get your Colorado real estate license? Well, on average, I estimate you're going to spend anywhere between $700 and $1,200 depending on what kind of packages you go for, what kind of sales and discounts you can get on your real estate pre-license education, and also what kind of study tools you invest in and how long the process takes. So that's a good range. But what I want to know is that for the potential that this career has and how much money you can earn, it's really a good investment for most people that are going to take it seriously. The upside is tremendous, and there are so many successful agents that are absolutely crushing it out there. So the barrier to entry and the amount of money you have to invest to get into this industry really isn't bad at all. The next question is, how long does it actually take to get your real estate license? In Colorado, because it is such a big investment of 168 hours, I estimate anywhere between 2 to 4 months if you take this seriously, study hard, and really stay disciplined. Now, if you go at your own pace and go slower, that's totally fine. Just know it's going to take longer to get through this process. Another question I get a lot is, how hard is the test? Well, the real estate exam itself is pretty difficult. A lot of people fail, but don't let that stop you. If this is something that you're interested in and you really have a passion for real estate and you want to get involved, there are tons of agents that have passed the real estate exam. Actually, there are millions of agents that have passed the real estate exam. So I believe you can too. And the last question is, can you start part-time? So many people ask this question, and you absolutely can start part-time. I know so many agents that started part-time while they balanced it with their full-time job, so they had their stable, steady income while they built their real estate business. Some people stayed that way for a very long time, and some even stayed that way forever, while others eventually transitioned out of their job and they became full-time agents and they became very successful. So it's absolutely possible to do. I do actually have a video on this channel all about starting out as a part-time agent and how I would do it if I was starting that process out. So make sure to check that out as well. So if this video was helpful and you have more questions, drop a comment in the comment section below and I'll get back to you ASAP. And also, if you like this kind of content all about getting licensed and starting your real estate career, make sure to smash the subscribe button because I have more useful content coming your way, and hit the like button if you appreciate the video. I definitely appreciate it, and I definitely check to see if people are enjoying these videos. So thanks again for tuning in, and you have an awesome day.